All right. More essential words. Ready?
Yes.
Yeah? We've had a great morning, great start. There are a couple of phrases on the board. I want to share it with everyone. So, okay, in retrospect, what was that? In retrospect.
Look back.
When you look back. So when I look back, also when I look back, it's when I look back. What do you see when you look back? And you review the past 10 years of your life. Are you happy? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel remorse? Do you feel
Sad?
sad? Sad?
Sad?
Why?
I mean regret. Regret.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have some regrets?
Of course.
No, you should never regret the past.
I know. But sometimes I feel like I should have done something
Differently.
differently.
I should have done this and that differently. So when you look back, Anna, at the past 10 years, how do you feel about it? You feel happy about it? You feel thrilled? You feel excited? How do you feel when you look back? In retrospect, do you think you should have done some of the things you've done differently, maybe? So you would say in retrospect, that was a really bad decision. So in retrospect, that was a really bad decision. Have you heard this phrase, Chris, this saying that hindsight is, help me, hindsight is 20/20. Do you know what it means by that hindsight? Hindsight is when you look behind, right? Behind you. Hind means behind, like hindsight. So we have foresight. Foresight. And of course sight means seeing, right? Like vision. See, sight. To see, when you go sightseeing, when you go on a trip and you go sightseeing, to see the sights of Toronto. You go sightseeing here in Toronto, it means you go to CN Tower, you go to that only lonely castle that they have. What's the name?
Casa Loma.
Yeah, Casa Loma. It's not even a castle, it's like a house. And yeah, the sides of Toronto. Anyways, so hindsight is 20. You know 20/20 vision, 20/20 sight is a perfect vision. So if your eyesight is 20/20, it means you have no problem. Yes? Your vision is just perfect. So if you say hindsight is 20/20, it means yes, of course, when you look back, it's easy to judge the past, right?
You always know better when
Yes.
afterwards.
So it is easy to look back and judge the past. It's like in America, we call it Monday morning quarterbacking. Have you heard this? Monday morning quarterbacking. You know what Monday morning quarterbacking is? So usually football games are held like Sunday nights, right? Monday morning, everybody's like a coach. Everybody's like, you know, they should have played that way. He should have done that. He should have, yeah, you know, he screwed up big time. It's Monday morning quarterbacking because, well, it's easy to look back and say that guy should have done this or should have done that. That's Monday morning quarterbacking. Enough Monday morning quarterbacking, guys. So right, sometimes it's very easy for you to judge and say, hey, look, you know, she made a mistake. He made a mistake. Because now you have all the facts. And you look behind and you look back and say, hey, look, this was wrong or this was right. So that's Monday morning quarterbacking. And some people say, enough Monday morning quarterbacking, stop it. At that time, we didn't have the facts we have today. In the US, they said, you could have stopped 9/11 because you knew that there was this thing coming, Al-Qaeda was talking and you had some threat alert in Washington, you had the intelligence, and well, the intelligence people would say, that's Monday morning quarterback. Yeah? So we have Monday morning quarterbacking. We have hindsight is 20/20. So when you look, hindsight is always 20/20. When you look behind, when you look back, hindsight is 20/20. It's easy to look back and judge. In retrospect, that was a really bad decision. In retrospect, that was a really bad decision. Or in retrospect, I did the right thing when I look back. In retrospect, I shouldn't have called him. Now when I look back, I shouldn't have called him. In retrospect, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. So, we also have something we call backseat driving. Backseat driving. Not completely irrelevant, not irrelevant. You know backseat driving? You're the one who's driving. That annoying person who's sitting in the back and tells you, stop, faster, slower, this, that, this way, that way. That's backseat driving. You say to someone, look, I don't need a backseat driver. I don't need a backseat driver. I'm like the backseat driving. Hey, you. And sometimes they say it's easy because you sit in the backseat and you don't have to deal with lots of things. You just. But speaking of backseat, there's something else that I want to share with you, and that is Chris always wants to be first. He doesn't want to take backseat to no one. He always wants to be first. He doesn't want to take backseat to no one, or take the backseat to no one.
He doesn't want to take backseat to no one.
Yeah.
So you double negative.
Yeah, we use it to anyone, you can say. So take a backseat or take a backseat. Well, when you take a backseat, yeah, in American English it's quite common to use double negative. Quite common. So I was happy to take a backseat and let my brother deal with the family crisis. My homework had to take a backseat to something. To take a backseat to. Where is it? To take a backseat. Backseat. You can also say to someone else. Yeah. And Kay said that when she looks back, she feels regrets. So, which reminds me of Frank Sinatra's song, Regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Have you heard this song? It's a very famous song. Okay. So regret is a good one. Because I also, so if you feel regret, you'll be regretful, right? If you have feeling, so this is for Chris, compunctions of guilt. Compunctions of guilt. You have those compunctions of guilt, that kind of like pangs, like that are, they hit you from inside. You feel remorse. Remorse. and remorseful. Now, regret is something, remorse is much stronger. If you regret, you simply regret some of the decisions. To regret something, right? To regret something. You don't need a preposition here. Right? For example, you regret that decision. It was the wrong decision. I shouldn't have done that. That was the wrong decision. The wrong thing, the wrong time. Have you heard it? It was just, I was just the wrong person, the wrong time, the wrong guy, the wrong time. Sometimes you meet the wrong time, the wrong guy, the wrong moment, the wrong place. It was just the wrong person, the wrong moment, the wrong place. The wrong everything. So I want you to learn the structure. I was the wrong person, or I met. I just met the wrong person, the wrong time, the wrong day, the wrong place. And you may regret. If I say, you know what you're doing right now, you'll regret. You'll regret something. You'll regret your actions. Your actions. You'll regret what you told me, what you did today. What you did today. What you did to me. You'll regret it. You'll regret it. To regret something. Some people say, look, I never regret the past. Don't regret the past. Don't regret the past. Have you heard this expression? They say, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it present. They call it present, right? So maybe it's a nice one to learn. So I'm writing here. So yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it present. That's why they call it present. Yeah. Sometimes they may ask you, do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets? To have regrets. Do you have any regrets? Some people, any sense of what? Any sense of what?
Regret.
Sense of guilt.
Guilt.
Yeah. Sense of guilt. Sometimes you feel guilty. You feel guilty, right?
Yes.
About what you did. Do you feel guilty about what you did to him or her? Do you ever feel guilty about what you did? When you look back, we have a chapter on feelings, and moods, which is a good chapter to look at. We talk about all feelings and all moods. But these are a few words that I would like to talk about before we move on. So, because it's part of it. So when you look back, and sometimes you regret the past, and people tell you don't regret, because if you go back, you would do exactly the same things that you did back then. With the information and the inputs and all the data that you had at the time, you made the decisions you made. So of course hindsight is 20/20. Of course now you know better. You say, now I know better. Of course now you know better. Because you have more information. So when you feel remorseful, sometimes some criminals, they don't feel remorseful. You've done something in the past, you've done something wrong to somebody, and you feel remorseful for that. You have this sense of guilt, like I've done something wrong. And sometimes, no. There's no such thing. You have no sense of remorse. You don't feel remorseful. So when you feel remorseful is when you actually have a sense of guilt. You feel guilty. You feel remorse. So remorse is a very good word, and I really want you to learn this. If you feel remorseful, or if you feel remorse, so to feel either remorseful or to feel remorse. Remorse is sense of guilt. Sense of guilt. No remorse. Some cold-blooded criminals would kill with no sense of remorse. Would kill in cold blood with no remorse. They never look back and they never have any sense of guilt. No remorse. It's good to know the word remorse. Okay. You'll regret your actions. You'll be sorry. You'll be sorry. You'll be kicking yourself. To kick oneself, you'll kick yourself forever. You'll be kicking yourself forever. You'll be kicking yourself. But sometimes we say, there's no use doing something, right? So we say past is gone. Past is, what do we say? After there's no use, what should I have as verb? To? There's no use to. There's no use, or there's no point. What kind of verb do I have after this? Infinitive, gerund?
To regret.
After there's no use, or there's no point, only gerund. Gerund, ing. Remember, there is no use, ing. ing. So there's no use crying over what?
Spilled milk.
Very good, very good. Spilled milk. And we say spilt we also have, huh? So spill, we have spill, spilled, spill, or spill, spilt.
Yeah, can you also say there is no use in crying over blah blah blah?
There's, sorry?
Can you also say there is no use in crying over whatever?
We don't usually say in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very old, spilled. So you can say spilled would do. Spilled would be better because spilled is very old. So there's no use crying over spilled milk. There's no point crying over spilled milk. So we'll say past is past, right? Let bygones be bygones. Yesterday or past is, they say water under the bridge. Water under the bridge. There's no sense. You can say there's no point in, but for use, you usually say there's no use doing it. There's no point crying over spilled milk. What's done? Okay, what's done?
Done.
How would you complete it? Tui? What's done?
Have been done.
Is done. They say what's done is done. What's done is done. Sometimes you regret something you did, and you keep kicking yourself and beating your chest about it. And like, stop it. Sometimes you see your friend sad and sitting there. You say, hey, what's eating you? Have you heard this? What's eating you? What's eating you? And you say, yeah. So what's eating you? If somebody says, what's eating you? What does that mean?
Happened.
And what, something is wrong inside?
Like what's dogging you?
Something dogging you is like, no, really, because what's eating you is like, you see somebody sitting there and is a little sad and something is inside her or him. You say, what's eating you? So if you see someone, what's eating you, it's like something is inside you and it's just making you sad and you're thinking about it, it's like it's eating you. So what's eating you? Don't even think about it, it's over, it's gone. That thing is over. What's done is done. You can't do anything about it. You can't change it. You know, you can't, what do we say? You can't turn back. You can't turn back the clock, right? Or you can't turn the clock back. The time. You can't turn back the time. You can't turn time back. Yeah. You can't do that. To turn back the clock, the hands of time, right? You can't turn back the clock. You can't turn back the clock. And also, let me give you two expressions with. It's a race against time, or it's a race against the clock. Have you heard this? It's a race against time. It's a race against time, or it's a race against the clock. The clock. Oh, I have to finish this report by Monday morning. It's a race against time here. It's a race against time. Race against time means that it's a mad dash, right? I have to finish this. It's a race against time. It's a race against the clock. It's a race against time. If it's a race against time, if it's a race against the clock, it's like the clock is ticking, and you look at it, and you have to finish this project by tomorrow morning. And you have no time, not enough time, and you have to kill yourself. You have to. It's a race against the time. It's a race against the clock. But you can't turn back the clock. That's a very good expression, right? You can't turn back the clock. You can't turn back the time. What's done is done. You say that to your friends all the time. When you want to console them, huh? To console a friend. To console a friend. Remember what you told me, Kay, about console? Soothe? To soothe a friend? Soothe? Soothing? To say something? To console a friend? That's consolation, right? These are all the words that we need to know. None of them is extra, not even one. If you don't know any of these words, that means it's a word that you should know. So when you console a friend, you try to, like, she's sad, she's sitting there, she's down in the mouth, down in the dumps. She's down, and say, hey, what's eating you? Hey, what's wrong? What's eating you? He said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. You know what? I did that, and now she's so sad. Come on, it's over. You can't turn back the time. And, well, what's done is done. Stop crying over spilled milk. There's nothing you can do about it now. There's nothing you can do about it, remember? There's nothing you can do about it now. So just stop kicking yourself and just, you know. There's no point crying over spilled milk. What's done is done. Sometimes you say, hey, you know, past is past. It's all gone. Forgive. You know, have you heard this? They say, forget and forgive. Forget and forgive. Say simply, forget and forgive. These usually come together.
Sorry.
Right. I wanted to write to you, but there was no time. We wanted to come like push the cart. Forget and forgive. Or forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. Forget and forgive, forgive and forget. Which one usually comes first? I think it's usually forgive and forget, right? Yeah, forgive and forget. Let me see, forget and also forget and forgive. Both. Some say to forgive and forget or to forget and forgive. Forgive and forget. Forget and forgive. Sometimes you say, I may forget, but I'll never forgive. I may forgive, but I'll never forget.
Yes, that makes sense.
Huh? I may forgive, but I'll never forget. They say, forgive your enemies, but don't forget their names. Remember who did that? So you need to be cautious, right? You need to stay on guard in life. You don't want to be bitten twice by the same snake, right?
Shame on you.
Shame on you, Ben.
Shame.
So for forgive and forget. We say Christianity and Jesus was all about forgiving, forgiveness. Forgiveness. So you pray for forgiveness. Pray for forgiveness. So forget and forgive or forgive and forgive. They usually come together. Some people forget easier than forgive, some people forgive easier than forget. So it's like, depends on you. Chris, which one is easier for you, to forget or to forgive?
Good.
It's easier to forgive than to forget. So when you console a friend, say, it's okay, come on. Stop it. It's not the, if you want to console a friend, say, come on, it's not the what? It's not the end of the world. 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 You say, I don't know how to make things right. I just don't know how to make things right. I screwed up big time. Big time. You know big time? Yeah, big time. I blew it. I blew it. You blew it, man. This time you blew it. It means you made such a mistake, you failed. Miserably. You know to fail miserably? To fail miserably. I know I blew it. Okay, it's not the end of the world. There's always a second chance. There's always a tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes you fail miserably. I screwed up big time. I know I screwed up big time. Big time. Blew it.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
You lose the chance.
Now, big time itself is used for a lot of different times and different occasions, different sentences. You know? You lied to me big time. Like, big time means like it's used for emphasis. So, use big time in so many different places. Big time. So, we lost. Big time. It has nothing to do with time. It means like we were big losers. Yeah? So, big time. You're a big time loser. Let me find an example here. Made it to the big time, one of the latest film. A big time comedian, for example, means a great comedian. But big time has so many meanings. You lost big time, man. You screwed up big time. A big time comedian. So, this all started with this regret. When you look back, remember, hindsight is 20/20. There are things you know now that you didn't know in the past. So that's why they say do not regret the past. Look, they always say, just look forward. Not backward. Don't look backward, huh? They say don't look backward. Don't look behind. Or behind, right? Don't look behind. Look forward. I heard. Keep the faith. Look forward. Stay up. Hopeful. Don't regret the past. They say when you lose the, have you heard this? They say when you lose, don't lose the lesson. So they say when you lose, don't lose the lesson. That or something wouldn't change anything. Wouldn't change anything. Save your tears. Save your tears. That wouldn't change anything. That wouldn't change anything. Okay. Now, we'll move on with these words that we have here. Of course, we had the word persistent. Remember? We had some other words there. So, persistent. What is the verb? To persist. We have to resist. That's a different word. Resistance. And resistant. We have to subsist, which is a different word. On something. I want you to remember these things. We have to insist. To insist. To insist on something. Insistence. Insistent.
What's the preposition of resist?
No preposition. Or preposition, you tell me. So insistence with E. Let me check this one. Yeah, resistance is okay. So, there's a bunch of different words here. To persist would be to remember per what?
Perseverance.
No.
Perseverance.
Persevere. And we had perseverance just the other day. So Sabrina, this is the reason why I give more words, because when we come to another word, it's good because then we get to repeat the other synonyms that we've had in the past. That's why it helps. It's always reviewing. So persist, persistence, persistence. So persistence is, or perseverance, would be the number one step towards success, right? It's the key to success. If you want to succeed, yes, to succeed. To be or become what? Successful. Success. I wish you what?
Success.
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 I wish you success. No, I wish you succeed. I wish you succeed is like a sentence, it's different. It means I wish that you succeed. But I wish you something. I wish you happiness. I wish you love. I wish you love. Right? So you wish somebody something as a noun.
I think you missed the I on insistence.
Where the hell?
There.
Yes, thank you very much. No? Not here. Instead of I, insistence. Thank you. Insistence, insist, insistent.
Resist. Success.
So, if it persists, what's if something persists, it means if it endures, right? If it stays. If the pain persists, if the pain persists. If the pain persists, it means if the pain stays, endures. And enduring, it could be friendship, it could be pain, friendship. A friendship that endures. Friendship that endures. Resist, and I want to come back to this so to resist something, right? Preposition, no. He resisted arrest. He resisted arrest. You know, that's one of the, usually the police, no matter what you do or you don't do it, usually there's discharge in your book of charges. Resisting arrest. Even if you didn't do anything. Not that I know from experience. But usually this is the first charge. Resisting arrest. Maybe because you waited for oh what? You resisted arrest. To resist arrest. I can't resist that cake. I can't resist that chocolate cake. Cake. It is, give me the word. If I can't resist something.
Irresistible. Irresistible.
Very good word. Irresistible. Very good word. Irresistible. Basically, it came irresistible cakes. And with IBL, resist, resistible, irresistible. You're irresistible. Haven't you heard it? It's a song, it's an old song saying, you're irresistible. I can't resist you. He could not resist her charm. And she could not resist his advances. So 9 months later, they had a baby. Could that happen, naturally? If he can't resist her charm and she can't resist his advances,
I was attracted by his blah blah blah.
irresistible charm. She's a lady of irresistible charm. Irresistible beauty. Irresistible charm, irresistible beauty. That's one of those words that Chris would use. Irresistible cake, irresistible tart, irresistible charm. Irresistible charm, irresistible beauty, irresistible cakes. I cannot resist persist. Persistence is the name of the game. Have you heard this? Something is the name of the game? Something, N-X, is the name of the game. In the story of life, resistance is the name of the game. Fighting is the name of the game. Something is named the game. In this job, hard work is the name of the game. If something is the name of the game, that something is very important. That's the name of the game here. Tolerance is the name of the game. Yeah. Tui, can you resist chocolate? I can't resist it.
But if it's a chocolate cake, it's another.
That's another story.
Yes, another story.
That's a totally. We have the expression, that's a horse of a different color. It's a little old now to say that, but they say it's a horse of a different color. That means that's a different story. So, she insisted that I stay. She insisted on doing something. When you insist on doing something, insistent. She insisted that I stay, right? Please stay, he insisted. Don't insist, I can't do that. Of course, you don't insist. Persist, if the pain persists, it doesn't go away. Resistance, persistence, perseverance, these are the tickets to success. If you want to succeed, if you want to be successful. So, this expression, I want you to learn this phrase. After this phrase, you have a noun. I wish you luck. I wish you happiness. I wish you something as a noun. I wish you endless joy and love. Serenity. Sereneness. So, we know this. Persistence, perseverance. Yeah. So, the attorney's persistent questioning weakened the witness. The attorney's persistent questioning. Her persistence earned her a spot on the team. She got a spot on the team because she was persistent. or persistent nagging? Constant, huh? That's different. She's constantly nagging. You know, constantly. Do you use that in your sentences? Constantly?
Nagging is like complaint.
Yeah. Exactly. Y'all? Chris? Nagging is complaining. Do you hear that word a lot?
No.
Sabrina?
Sometimes.
Do you ever hear the word nagging?
No,
Stop nagging, for example?
no.
Hey, stop nagging, huh? Stop nagging. It means stop complaining. She is constantly nagging. Constantly nagging. Doing it all the time. Don't be such a nag. Also, nag is a noun. Don't be such a nag. She's constantly nagging. Getting on my nerves, right? He is getting on my nerves. Under my skin. Under my skin. When somebody's getting on your nerves, makes you nervous, right?
Can I say continually?
Continuously. She's continuously nagging? Yeah, but they usually use the word constantly. She's constantly nagging.
When you say yes, getting on my nerves, does it mean that he's very annoying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's really getting on my nerves. Right? He's
Unnecessary.
trying my patience. Have you heard this? Chris! You're really trying my patience. Really trying my patience. That basically means my patience is running out. My patience is running out. I'm at the end of my tether. I've had enough of you and your nagging and your whatever. I'm up to here. I'm up to here with you. I'm up to here with you. I'm fed up. Yeah? Fed up with you. I've had my fill. Enough is enough. Have you heard enough is enough?
Yes. Knock it up.
Very good. Very good. Knock it up, please stop it. Knock it off, you two. I've had enough of you and your long face. You know long face? It's a good word to know. What is the long face? So long face is a good word though. You see somebody, you go someplace and full of long faces, you just want to get out. But sometimes you have to tolerate it. There's no other way. So Chris, you're really trying my patience. My patience is running out. I'm at the end of my tether. Sometimes you say I'm at the end of my rope. Or my tether. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm at the end of my rope. There's a rope when you're at the end of it. When you're at the end of your rope, that basically means you're Your patience is almost out. It's worn so thin. No more patience. I'm at the end of my rope. I've had enough of you and your nonsense. I've had enough of you and your childish nagging. I'm up to here with you. I'm fed up with you. Stop nagging. Stop complaining. She's constantly nagging. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting under my skin. I can't stand him anymore. I can't stand him anymore. I can't stand him. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I can't stand it. I can't take it. I can't bear it. It is, if you can't bear it anymore, it is unbearable. Intolerable. Because you can't tolerate it. Stand, tolerate him. Tolerance is key. Tolerance is very important. People who are broad-minded people learn to tolerate each other. We have religious tolerance. So one of the biggest problems in the world is lack of tolerance. People don't tolerate each other. They don't tolerate differences in attitude and thinking and outlook and way of seeing things. Religious tolerance is important. The Christians tolerating Muslims, Muslims tolerating Jews. People tolerating each other and different views. So you do it when you're broad-minded, you don't do it when you're narrow-minded. Yeah? Broad-minded is the opposite of narrow-minded, right? So when you're narrow-minded, you find it hard to tolerate people. So, you can't take it, you can't bear it, it's unbearable, it's intolerable, you can't tolerate it, you can't stand it, you won't tolerate it, you won't have it, your patience is running out at the end of your rope, so on and so forth.